Hi everyone, this is Sonnet. As always, I hope all of you are doing well. I know it's taken me some time to deliver part two of the merging process, but I'm actually in the middle of a move right now, you guys, and I've been having to look for places and, gather boxes and pack my things, and I haven't moved for a really long time, and I almost forgot how hectic moving can be. So, amongst other things, that's what's been going on my end. So, thank you for your patience. Hopefully, as things begin to settle down more, I will start delivering 1 to 2 videos a week, at least one. So, we'll see how that goes. But again, thank you for your patience. I know so many of you have been wondering what is going on with these energies because it feels like everything is working against our favor, and it's that tough love from the universe right now. Saturn is in Aquarius, but even if it may not feel like it, things are only aligning for our highest good. So I will talk about that on a different video. And then we've also been having very powerful solar flares, and that in itself is making a lot of people exhausted, myself included. So yeah, hang in there. But anyway, so in the last video, I spoke about, and by the way, you guys, I received a lot of feedback on the merging video, and a lot of you shared your experiences and your questions and things like that. So thank you so much for that. But yeah, so I spoke about the merging process and what it is that merges the twins' energies together. There is a lot of speculation out there about what a twin flame really is and what the connection is about due to the intense nature of it. And most of the time, people just look at it like something romantic or catalytic, but the romanticism is only one aspect of it. There is so much more that is influencing the way you operate, the way you behave, the choices you make, the way you feel. And many ask, well, what is this connection then? And why am I a twin, or why are we twin flames? And the answer is we just are. That is what the nature chose to create, whether that is God for you or the universe. It is what it is, and it did what it did. And for twins, we happen to be a spark of consciousness that experienced a divine tear, a godly fracture. And this is why I said, as above, so below. A lot of you asked what I meant by that, and what I mean is your consciousness, which is energy with awareness, or intelligent energy as we say, will always express itself in whatever shape or form we incarnate into. So if you have one spark in two physical bodies, then those two will have the same energetic expression, the same essence, regardless of race, shape, age, circumstance, location, sex, personality, and all of that stuff. And so, as above, so below. As in heaven, so on earth. This is where the saying, a match made in heaven, truly fits. The entanglement is essentially a divine marriage. But now that you have an idea about how interconnected twins are, let's talk about the effects that this merge and entanglement have on twins. And we'll start with the heart and sacral first again, since it is the first aspect that merges. And I was actually asked why the heart and sacral merge first. And I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but the reason is because the heart's chamber is the seat of the soul. The stream of consciousness flows through the heart. And the sacral is creation. It is used to create and express. So it is the bond between masculine and feminine energies. It's the balance. The masculine is consciousness, the feminine is creation. So essentially, what God is, it is that union between masculine and feminine energies. So for twins, being that the masculine and feminine are already one, it is a given that these two areas will always be connected and activated immediately in physical form, or after meeting one another. So when these two energies merge, like I mentioned in part one, the telepathy will begin. The exchanging messages in form of feeling, having a sense of what your twin may be going through, having a sense of what they may be doing, feeling their emotions, their thoughts, their experiences, just having that intuitive feeling about them. Sometimes you will have memories that aren't even yours. You will have dreams that aren't even yours. And this is something that you will notice, that after having met your twin, you will have experienced a shift in your reality. Maybe the way you look at things, the way you feel, your perception, maybe your dreams have changed, things like that. And that has to do with, the emergence of polarities. And what is fascinating about this is that given that we are merging and have merged for eons and many past lives, we essentially share karmas with our twins. Not that whatever karmas they create are our responsibility or vice versa, but it is the case that when our twins or ourselves create karma, or even when we heal it and release it, we feel it. And we will definitely feel it. So when your twin finally resolves or lets go of something karmic, you will experience a shift in your life. You will feel more at ease in general. Energetically, you will feel the shift. And this is why meditation and devotion is crucial on this journey, because anything you heal within yourself not only clears your own energy and your own akash, but it consumes your twin into doing the same. So this is how the energy functions between the two. So not just because we share karmas, it doesn't mean that we are responsible for what the other one does. But what happens, you guys, is that if there is a pending karma, let's say with your twin, that takes years to resolve, you yourself can't navigate in a different direction in life until that is essentially resolved with your other half. I mean, that is how it works. It's almost like a scale of karma and frequencies that is shared among the two, especially as you begin to merge, and that's what happens. So meditation is so important, and I always stress this because your connection with your twin is literally a silent language. And when you tune into it, you will learn what your feelings mean. So many of you are feeling things and experiencing things, and you may not have the awareness that what you are feeling means something, or that what you are experiencing is indicative that something else is happening with the other side of yourself, meaning your counterpart. So there are so many things in this connection with the merging and the telepathy and the effects that it is so important to know what your feelings are telling you. It is important to differentiate whether something you are feeling is yours, whether it is your ego or whether it is coming from your twin. So just to give you some examples, and what I want to say here is that these feelings, these energies have to come with the energy of your twin, right? So I'll give you an example. Sometimes we may be feeling like we want to reach out so badly. We want to send a text, or we want to call or send an email, and we just want to reach out so badly. But in reality, they're the ones wanting us to call. And we may be thinking that it is our own urgency, when in reality it is not. Sometimes this urge comes out of the blue and it lasts for hours, sometimes days or weeks, but that is the twin pulling on your heartstrings. Other times we feel the urgency to talk with them or to be around them. That is usually a signal that they are feeling alone or lonely, or that they may be going through a dark night of the soul. If all of a sudden you feel their energy and then you feel like crying, or you feel some sadness connected to it and you don't know why, that is a signal that your twin may be upset, in trouble, or maybe they are just feeling anxious or stressed out about something. If you get a headache, this is a big one. Headaches are usually your twin thinking about the connection itself, or it can signify the release of a mental block. As silly as it sounds, we a lot of the times we still are either holding or connected to, or still carrying either cords or strings that are still attached to past life karmas that become blocks in our own energy fields, right? So when something is being released or pulled out, we will definitely feel the side effect of that. And a lot of the times it does manifest into a headache. Sometimes the right side of our head will hurt, sometimes it's the left side. Other times we may get lower back pain, or some physical pain. But a lot of it does have to do with the release of certain energies that are coming off of you, either you or your counterpart. Jaw pain or throat irritation, sudden anxiety, or just feeling panicky is usually your twin experiencing a dispute or fighting or something disruptive. Now, this is really interesting because sometimes I myself am disruptive. Sometimes I am the one feeling the anxiety and feeling the panic, or sometimes I'm under a lot of stress, or I may be feeling, sad about something, or I may be going through a dark night of the soul. And what I have observed within myself, you guys, is that when I am feeling this way, what will happen is that I know that I am affecting my twin. And so my own energy transfers over. And so he begins to feel the disruptive energy. But then he handles it in a calmer way. And then I will literally feel the energy come back. I will feel the energy return to me in a more subtle way. And then I will feel when my twin has sort of grounded that energy, and then I can say, okay, there has been a shift in my energy. And so that is what happens. We have that ping pong effect. So if I am feeling bad, it goes over to him, he handles it, comes back to me in a more subtle way, and that's how we keep each other grounded, and that's the way it works with a twin flame connection. And so these are just some examples. Just remember that a lot of these things have to come with your twin's energy to know that it is coming from them. This is not to say that, just because you have a headache, or just because you have a certain, pain around your body, that is your twin. Most of the things that we feel are always connected to our twins, right? But there are things that may not be. There are things that sometimes it is our own stuff. And so if you know that whatever you are feeling is your twin, the best thing to say is to, you know, say to them in your heart that everything is going to be okay. You know, talk yourself down and just breathe and allow these feelings and this energy to settle. And so they may not necessarily hear what you are saying, and this is how the telepathy works, is that they may not hear what you are saying, but they will receive it in the form of feeling. So if you feel that your twin is going through some sort of difficulty, you yourself have the ability to ground the energy and keep each other grounded, if that makes sense. But you know, it's not always negative, right? So you know, if you feel happy and teary and you don't know why you're suddenly crying, but you are happy, then you know that is your twin's higher self, or the energy is intertwining with itself, or activating and connecting aspects of your connection. And again, you have to feel your twin's energy with that. If you are happy and bouncy, that is usually your twin in their heart space doing what they love. It could be music, art, sports, baking, working out, spending time with family, whatever it is that they like to do. But if all of a sudden you feel some happiness, you know, an elevated energy, and you just feel bouncy for no reason, that's because your own twin is in their heart space. If you feel happy and motivated, that is your twin gaining awareness or waking up to certain things. So understand here, you guys, that you will feel emotions. I mean, it is normal to feel happy about certain things in life, right? But the way this works, okay, the way this telepathy works is that sometimes this energy just hits you like a bolt out of complete randomness, and you will all of a sudden get like a jolt of happy energy, and then you will feel your twin's essence along with that, and then that's how you know. So if you guys are still not aware of what this feels like, most of you do, I'm sure. Maybe you don't know that that's what it means, but a lot of you may be going throughout your day, and then all of a sudden you may think about your twin, right? They sneak up, and all of a sudden you're thinking about them. So the energy is very sneaky in that way. It's always around you, right? And so that's how you know if something that you are feeling is them. It's because you will either think about them or feel them, and then you will feel the, you know, the sensation of whatever it is. One of the things that you guys really resonated with was the sexual telepathy, you know, feeling when your twin is feeling sexual and vice versa. And a lot of the times this happens at any time, you know, like I mentioned, you could be at grocery shopping, you could be at work, you could, you know, could be you're winding down for the night, and then you will feel your twin's essence, and you have that impression of etheric lovemaking, and it comes through very strongly. So that's what happens. And just to share a story with you, because I think this is very interesting about how the energy works, is so I had a client of mine and we became good friends, so I'm able to share this with you. But what happened to him, you guys, is that after meeting his twin, he started feeling like a cool tingling sensation on the back of his neck. And so it would happen so randomly and for some time. And he started to think that maybe he had some nerve sensitivity on the back of his neck. And the more he started spending time with his twin, he then realized that that area where he would feel the tingling was actually where his twin would caress him. And it made sense to him. And, we become acclimated to the energy and we get used to it. But this is what happens, the energy has a way of imprinting itself in certain ways. So that is what happens. For me personally, what I experienced is when I first started coming around my twin, I would feel a magnetic sensation around my head, my ears, and it almost felt like a magnetic pull in that area. And I noticed that this is something that would happen only when I would come around him. And again, even to this day, anytime we are in close proximity, I do feel the magnetic sensation. But it's become more usual for me, and so I've become used to it. So this is what I mean. A lot of you might have started feeling things, and now it's normal, and you don't even notice it anymore. But this is what happens. For my twin, what I noticed is that anytime I would come around him, he would start to get really hot. He would start to sweat and get hot. So even if we were in the same venue but not in the same room, it would still happen. So it's very, very interesting. So pay attention to what you are feeling around your twin, or when you begin to feel their energy. You will, either notice that there is something that you are picking up on. So like I said, pay attention to that. So anyway, as the heart merges, you will also begin to, like I said, blend the things that you love together. You may pick up on liking things that you never did before. And what is fascinating about that is that the exact thing that you desire in your beloved is what your twin begins to embody, right? So the desires that you have, the way you like to be touched or cared for or kissed or talked to or looked at, is by design their skill. In the way your twin likes to be touched or looked at or cared for or talked to is by design your skill. So twins can feel each other very deeply. I mean, there is nothing that we can hide from one another. If we don't know mentally what they are thinking about or what they are going through, we feel it. We feel it intuitively. It's we just know, we have a feeling about it. Another thing that happens with the merging here is that as we begin to activate these energies and this emergence of polarities, what will happen is that as the masculine and feminine is blending, we create what we call the third energy. So let me give you an example. What happens when you mix the color red and blue? You get purple, right? You get that third color. And so that is what happens with twin flames, is that, we create that third energy. And it's a very, very powerful force. It is a powerful energy that has the ability to destroy. It has the ability to create, transform, shift. It's very powerful, you guys, and I'm sure that a lot of you have noticed that when you are with your twin, you either transform things, you draw people in, you shift the energy in a room, and you may also notice that things within yourself also begin to shift. So I've had many twins who have gotten off medications, who have had addictions that they have overcome. They have been healed of certain ailments. They might have stopped drinking or smoking. And it all depends, again, how in tune you are with this connection, with this, with your own energies. You know, how much of it are you consciously utilizing? Because when you are conscious of this third energy and you are in your heart space, you are actually commanding it to do certain things, right? You are activating the energy. So how much of yourself is involved in your connection, right? But yeah, you have the ability to heal yourselves. And sometimes without even knowing, the energy does what it does. It does have the ability to create miracles, right? So there's just been so many stories, you guys, so many to name. But I'll give you an example. I remember one time I was supposed to meet my twin at a venue and at a show, and I was struggling with insomnia at that time, and I was having a hard time sleeping, and so I went. I hadn't slept for days, and so when I finally went out to meet him, when I came home, I slept almost 14-15 hours, and I don't know how my bladder held up. I don't know how I did it, but I believe I only got up maybe once in the 14 hours. It was very deep sleep, very healing, right? And so that is what that energy does. And this is why I say, if you have an opportunity to see your twin or to be around them, do it. You know, there is no reason why you shouldn't if you have the opportunity to. But that is what that third energy does. It's fascinating. Now, a lot of you also asked about the merging effects and dating. You know, you wanted to know, is it possible to date when you are going through the merging process? And this is something that a lot of you want to know about. And I would say that it is possible to date outside of the union, but it can be a little difficult, or actually very difficult, especially in the beginning stages after meeting. And that is because the hard merge ignites. You know, it's ignited, and all you feel is your twin. All you can feel is each other. You're connecting in the heart and feeling each other deeply. So even if your twin or yourself is dating others, just know that it is impossible for them to actually be in harmony or wholeheartedly involved in a relationship. So if both of you are involved with a different partner, it is unlikely that either of you will be fulfilled. It is impossible because the heart energies are blending and you are taking a bit of each other in a little bit at a time, and sometimes intensely. So think about it, right? If your heart is a chamber upon where your soul resides, and you are one with your twin, who do you think is ruling that chamber? It's your twin. And to bring in a foreign energy into the space that is already occupied almost feels invasive. Even for the unawakened twin, they may be, searching and searching restlessly for a relationship, but nothing is fulfilling to them. They may even marry a karmic, or maybe they have been married for years. Maybe you are with a karmic yourself, and the restlessness will still be there. It is very telling. And that is because this third party is in a sense intruding on the bond that is existing on the inside. So a question that I get asked a lot is, well, can a twin eventually be happy in another relationship? And the answer is that we can find happiness in all things, right? We can find satisfaction in all things, many things, but happiness and satisfaction is not the same as joy and fulfillment. Happiness is a feeling. Joyfulness is a state of being. Satisfaction is gratification, and fulfillment is completion. So the answer is yes, you can be happy and satisfied and content in another relationship, but it will never be your twin. Now, I'm not saying this to sound like a bummer or to bring anything or anyone down. It's just the truth. And it is what it is. So anyway, in the beginning, it is very difficult to date outside of the union because you are feeling so much. But it does get better though. And if you do date, I would say it is more likely that something will either develop or work out after the heart and sacral merge has happened, or after the merging process has completed to a certain extent, where you have essentially merged both of your masculine and feminine energies. You've reached that balance within yourself, and at this point you will feel more whole and more able to date someone else and have that contentment within. So on average, it takes about 5 to 7 years to be out of the intensity of the merge. But I will say, you guys, that it takes a lot of detachment and work to get to that point, right? You have to have attained that balance within yourselves that allows you to feel a sense of completion, a sense of wholesomeness within yourself. Because as long as your twin is alive, that electric and magnetic entanglement will always be drawing you to each other. The energy will always work in claiming its own space. So, to be honest, it is a lot easier to be in a relationship if one of the twins was in spirit versus both twins being incarnated at the same time. The reason I say this is because somebody that has a twin in spirit has a very different experience than someone who has their twin alive at the same time. It's a very different experience because when the twin is in spirit, you have more a sense of wholesomeness that is already existing. And when your twin is alive with you at the same time, you have this push and pull all the time. You are, in a sense, working through each other's egos, and you're healing one another at the same time, keeping each other grounded, working through karmas together. And so that is a very intense process. It really is. And when I say intense, you guys, it doesn't mean that it is negative, right? A lot of people misconstrue intense to mean something negative, and it's really not. Things could be intense, but in a positive way. It could be intensely passionate, intensely harmonious, intensely happy, right? It doesn't mean that it is negative. But on this connection, it is both negative and positive, right? But the intensity is that in a twin flame connection, everything is enhanced, everything is felt all the more. Uh, the energy, the telepathy is happening in real time, so everything does become more intense. Our senses intensify, the love intensifies, everything is so much more enhanced, and this is why it is so intense. And sometimes, whether we're ready or not, things happen, things manifest. Even the intensity of what we feel when we have to wait to see our twins, or wait for the next reunion and allow things to happen, that in itself is intense. So that's what I mean. It's a very intense connection. It's extremely passionate. But anyway, getting back to the dating, if either twin is in a karmic situation or in a relationship, let's say you have been married for a long time, or your twin has been married for a long time, or maybe they have been dating different people for some time, what will happen is that they will begin to feel a shift and experience strange effects. So the feeling that they get when they are intimate with someone else, or maybe when you are intimate with the karmic, if you still are, you will notice that it can start to feel dull, bland. The excitement vanishes. You or they may feel like they are being intimate with a stranger. You may feel like you are not able to bond or connect with anybody else, right? Because you know who you love, you know what you love. And so even for the twin that is unaware of the twin flame label, you would say, or unawakened, or the runner, even they feel things like this. Things are not the same anymore. They do begin to experience that dullness and the blandness, and everything is underwhelming for them. There's no excitement there when it comes to being with anyone else that is outside of the union, and that's just something that happens. Some twins even experience physical pain around their intimate areas, headaches, a dull ache in the heart, sadness, heartache, breathing shallow, anxiety, impending doom before or during being intimate with other people. That's just something that happens. When one of the twins is being intimate, the other one is going to feel it. They may not know in their minds what is happening, but the body takes a certain response. There is a side effect to that. And for many awakened and aware twins, they will know. And this is something that I do not wish on anybody, you guys, because I have connected with so many twins, and a lot of you have shared what it is like in the moment when you feel a side effect of that, when you feel your twin being intimate with someone else. It is very difficult. A lot of you have felt so much, and it's just a very awkward and distorted feeling in the moment, because a lot of you have expressed feeling aching in the heart, with a feeling of cry and loneliness mixed with sexual feelings at the same time. So it's a very distorted type of feeling. Some twins have even gotten visions or flashes of what the person looks like. They could see that maybe they had brown hair, maybe they were blonde, maybe they had red hair. They can literally see what the person looks like. And again, it goes back to how in tune are you with your own energies, right? And it goes back to the bleed through effect that we have in the connection, because things do get filtered through. The energy is always connecting to itself, right? It's that ping pong effect. It's going back and forth. the signal is going back and forth, and a lot of things do bleed through. And so you will have a sense of what what and how or where your twin is doing something. And I'll give you an example. So if my twin ever went to a music store, or if he ever went to a store or a venue or to the movies or something like that, a library, I could literally feel that same sensation. So if he was at a store, in that moment, I would feel like I was there. And the best way that I could describe this is like a sense of deja vu, right? I would feel like I was there, and I would feel the deja vu. But that is them experiencing it on their end. So I would feel it. I would feel the essence of being there. I would feel the place, the vibration of the place. And that's what happens. And so in this case, when you do feel your twin in these situations, it is very painful. I personally have never felt that because my twin and I, we have rare circumstances when it comes to dating people and karmic situations, but a lot of you have felt that, and I can just imagine how painful that can be. Now also keep in mind that we do have soul contracts in place. You know, we're not just born on earth without without a destiny or without trajectory. We know what we came here to do, and sometimes we do have, a lot of the time, actually, we do have soul contracts put in place. That is the karma of our trajectory. It is the dharma, right? So it is our purpose. So if we have certain soul contracts with karmics, chances are that you may not feel that as much. But even when a soul contract is put in place, because you are so connected to your twin, chances are that you may feel something. And a lot of you have woken up in the middle of the night or throughout the day, and you may feel something, but you're not connecting it to that. So just keep that in mind. And this is why I said, pay attention, you know. But that is that. And again, it's not something that I wish on any twin. And also, this isn't something that only the awakened one feels. The unawakened twin also feels these things, only interprets them differently. Another thing that happens, you guys, is that when you are going through this alchemical process and you are going through a deep healing, that energy within yourselves begins to purify. And when you have that third energy within you, now keep in mind the third energy isn't something that activates only when you are together in the physical. It is something that is becoming a part of you. So when you are healing yourself, that as you purify certain things about yourself, that third energy is rising. And the twin flame energy is very addicting, and you will notice this, that after meeting your twin, especially after having met in the physical, you might have noticed that you attract a lot of things. You either attract people of the same sex, opposite sex. You tend to shift energy everywhere you go. Or even just the attraction thing. You may notice that you do attract a lot of attention sometimes. And again, that has to do with the purity that is within you as you are healing and merging. You know, it's like people are attracted to pure things, right? And this is why sometimes we gravitate towards children or animals, things that are pure and innocent. The energy is very pure. But that can also be a little awkward. Um, so I'll give you an example for me, and I know this is TMI, but I like to give you a story time just to give you perspective. But I had a friend of mine who is very sweet, but he also had sexual attraction towards me. And every time he would start feeling some sort of way or would mention anything sexual, I would experience nausea. I would get nauseous, or I would start feeling angry. And I started noticing this pattern where I would just start to feel angry. And the only way it would go away is if I walked away or changed the conversation to something else. So my body was literally repelling the energy and the vibration that this person was sending my way. And then if I got some attention, I would get upset, right? And then that's when the higher self said, this is what is happening. It is the protectiveness of the masculine within you. And that's when it hit me, and I realized that everything was happening in real time. This connection that we have with our twins is literally inside of us. Their consciousness is within us, right? And consciousness is not just mental knowledge. The consciousness is the spiritual awareness of who we are. It is our own energy, and that is always residing within ourselves. So when it comes to twins, each of the consciousness of each polarity is within each one of us. And so that's how we connect, and we're always connected. And it's just fascinating. You know, even if you can't peer review this or you can't scientifically measure twin flame, right? You yourselves, you who are on this twin flame journey, you are your own witness to the things that you feel and your life and your own experiences. But it's just really fascinating. But anyway, you guys, I have, going back to feeling your twin in such a way, or feeling the intruding energy, as I mentioned. In the beginning, I experienced a lot of that myself. If my twin started talking to someone else, I could literally feel the energy of the person, of the intruder. And it was very, very difficult, because even without knowing what they might have been talking about, or even without knowing what was going on, I would just get very frustrated and very unsettled. And I knew that it was connected to that because I would feel the other person's energy. And so I had to walk it off. I had to either run or walk or exercise or just do something, because I didn't like it. It literally feels like an invasive energy, right? But then again, I am very intuitive and very emotional. I feel things. I'm very empathic. So I was able to, and am able to, pick up on things like that. But yeah, ladies, I mean, I know what you're feeling when you know that your twin is talking to somebody else. I've been there. Guys, men, I can just imagine how difficult it is to know that your woman is talking to someone else. It's difficult, but it does get better. Now, the good news is that as you progress in your healing and your ascension, your twin does not stay the same. As you work on yourselves, your twin does become a different person. And then having a battle with outside energies is not something that you then have to deal with, because those things begin to fall away, right? Things, we become like oil and water. 3D things no longer are able to mix with us, and so that's really what happens, you guys. So all of these, you know, little issues of 3D intruders and stuff like that, or addictions, and they will eventually fall off. They do. I mean, there's just no way around this. But the more you work on yourself, the sooner they fall off, because you're no longer in linear time. And I've said this a lot. You're stepping out of linear time into quantum time. And if you are focused on it and you're creating it and you're holding that high vibration, you're holding the energy of your third energy, your union's third energy, things do begin to happen. They begin to move along at a much faster pace. You know, one of the things that happens in sessions, right, when I have sessions with you guys, is that what'll happen, and this is so funny, is that if I'm in a session with a twin and they've had trouble in their own union, what happens a lot, and it's happening more and more often, is that their twin will either text or call, or they will hear from their twin the next day, or in like 2 or 3 days. And even when we're on call, the twin will text. And what they say is, why does this always happen when I'm talking to you? And the thing is, you guys, it isn't me, right? I am just the the antenna, you would say, right? But it isn't me doing it. What is happening is that, and this is something that does happen when you connect with another twin, we elevate the energy, right? And we reconnect the connection, and your twin is feeling that on their end. They feel this rise in vibration, and they want to connect with you. And so things shift. And what I want you guys to do is to be able to hold that same vibration going forward, right? And sustain it. Because what does happen is that maybe after we disconnect the call, what'll happen is, you know, you sustain it for a week or 2 or 3, and then something will happen and it will bring you back down. And then the push and pull begins again. So this is what we are trying to do. We're trying to sustain this energy, this vibration, and you can do it. You definitely can. You know, just stay out of all of the 3D energetic debris. And if you see things on the internet that are bothering you, don't look at these things anymore. Don't look at your twins' pictures anymore. Don't look at tweets and Facebook and any of these things, because all of that is illusion. It is illusion. Don't look at it. Sustain the vibration, hold your field. That's where you will see the magic happen. That's where you will really sustain your own 3D, your own third energy. But anyway, this is all I have for you for today, you guys. We've been going a long time. I have to really land here because I can go on and on. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at Sonnet1117. Feel free to leave your comments, send an email. You know, I'm here for you. And let me know if you want to inquire about a session, or if you need help. That's why I am here. And I'm going to be posting another video very, very soon on the energies, but this is all for today. Be safe out there, you guys, and until next time, bye everybody.